Tonight you're going to see two Democrats. One's a United States Senator. The other is the chair of the Tennessee State Democratic Caucus. They're both going to stand in front of cameras and tell Black America that the system is rigged against Black America. I'm talking about Senator Raphael Warnock and State Senator Lamar. And you're about to watch them try to gaslight their way out of it. Okay? Run the tape.
Everyday people know that the system is stacked against them. They know it in their bones, and they don't always have the words, that we want to use.
They know it. Do they feel like they can change it?
They feel it. Yeah, I think that's that. That's the thing. Do people feel empowered to change it? And I do think that there are a lot of people who feel powerless, which is why they signed up for Donald Trump. You asked me that question earlier. Let me answer it more directly. I think that there are people, and I do think it's overstated. Donald Trump didn't have this whole huge slew of Black men voting for them. And I think part of that was a game they played during the election in 24. I think they were trying to create a permission structure, a bandwagon, so people would jump on it. But there were no overwhelming. It was one is too many, but there weren't overwhelming numbers of Black men voting for Donald Trump.
Full of shit.
Yeah. Now you see why they don't send Warnock out to talk that often. Yeah, it's not a good look for him to start talking. He obviously does not speak for Black Americans, working class Black Americans at all. Yeah, he says the system is against them. Raphael Warnock, you're part of the system, doofus. Yeah, you're part of the system, goofy. Well, this guy think you can't talk in third person, mother. Mofo, you are the system. They don't feel empowered to change it. You see, they don't feel empowered to change it. Lord, damn. Woo! Warnock is telegraphing this as if Black Americans are synonymous with his party, that we are connected to the Democratic Party in a way. Family, half of America doesn't vote. Translation, half of Black America doesn't vote. And even more of Black America doesn't vote than white America. It's not about being a power. It's like what are the options? Like, it's not just us not voting because we don't know how to get to the polls or we don't know how to work the machinery. It's because there's somebody to vote for that's worth a damn. It's not just, the system shit. It is shit, but so are the candidates. For example, Raphael Warnock, an empty suit. You should get a public nudity. You should be arrested for being butt naked because you are an empty suit. Your emperor has no clothes. The senator has no clothes, no purpose, and no damn business talking about Black people's situation at all. Not the way you've been conducting things. The permission structure. What are you even talking about? Black people don't need no permission to vote for Trump. There are Black people that voted for Trump to say F the Democrats just to do it. That's true. But still, more Black men voted for Trump than voted for John McCain, Ronald Reagan, Bush. So that says something. I know you want to make it nothing, but numbers matter. And they weren't looking for permission. Permission from who? Who gonna give permission? That's like, I don't know, it's like it doesn't appear to me that you're the type of guy that should be emasculating anybody Black, any type of Black man that would exercise his rights and vote the way he sees fit. Yeah, I don't feel like you are the type of guy. You don't strike me as being a brother, that's really an alpha, talk as if you can dictate what's acceptable for black men to do and not to do. I think what you should do is stick to preaching. I think you should have stayed a preacher, frankly. Because most of the time, you don't speak directly about shit, except when it was time to get votes. Then you talked a good game. Then you talked like you were going to do something. But anybody can see through you was just saying what you need to say to get elected. Doing your worst or best MLK impersonation. Riding off the tails of the civil rights movement. Man, I can't wait till we're black Americans at a point where none of that shit works. Oh, one day, none of that's going to work, man. I hope I live long enough to see it. Black people totally reject anybody coming up doing a whole Martin Luther King speech. Raphael is nothing more than a cheap-ass MLK knockoff with no substance at all. No guts, no glory. What black men want to do with their vote is what they did with their vote. Period. We're going to get to that more later. But I feel that anybody who used their vote to vote whatever way they wanted to vote, or if they chose not to vote, that's a direct connection to the Democratic Party lack of performance. Democrats have been all over the airways for 30, 40, 50 years. Pretty much every actor, celebrity, public person is connected to the Democratic Party. You have such an outsized influence in culture. How could you make it seem like that a black person who decided not to go with that was somehow like uninformed? Now, they informed. They're not being tricked. That took a decision being made by us. Anybody who chose not to vote did so based on what was available. You ever went somewhere to get something to eat, or you ever been invited somewhere to eat and you looked at the food and did not seem appetizing? You said, nah, I'm good. I eat later. I don't think I should eat that. It looks disagreeable. I don't want to be in the bathroom all night. It's not for me. It's not my style. Or maybe I'm allergic to the BS. Whatever. A lot of people had that conclusion about Kamala. Some people had that conclusion about Trump. They opted out. You can still do that in America. It's your job, Raphael Warnock, Senator Warnock, to make that less likely by being a part of a message that actually activates people. I'm glad you're not better at your job, because you would have just fooled people into joining you in a shithole sandwich eating contest, better known as riding with the Democratic Party, because I didn't see anything coming out of the Biden administration that was all that positive. Half the shit they said they was going to get done got turned back by the courts, and the rest of it they didn't get done. They spent a lot of money on shit like batteries for electric cars most black folks don't even own. What a waste of time and money. Mr. Magoo looking motherfucker, what'd you get done? Sorry, guys. I mean to drop the MF, but I'm just saying, man, what's this guy even talking about? Permission structure. Fucking, do you have any real black friends? Were you ever cool at all? You know anybody attached to the culture? Fake ass preacher. Let's keep going, y'all. I'm sorry, man. Sometimes I feel like I'm using too many words. I gotta cut through the words. Keep it a little bit more blunt.
Next up with Tim Black.
This is a deliberate plan to take away the black vote.
Black people aren't Democrat and Republican. We vote our issues. And so far, the black people in Memphis vote their issues. And to see them act like they don't know what they're doing and deliberately take away our ability to have a solid voting power and representation in Congress is one of the most egregious acts since Reconstruction. Our ancestors died. They are bodies all across fields and in rivers across this country because they marched, they were lynched, they were beaten just to advocate for the right to vote. And to see them do this in 2026 is a direct insult on the black community. Everything that we contribute to the Tennessee, all our tax dollars, what we do to make this state the state that it is, they are deliberately taking our voice away, and it's appalling.
Talking points detected.
Man, I'm so tired of these Democrats talking, saying this shit. If we could go back in time, or if those people who lived before us in the civil rights era could fast forward and jump in a time machine and come to 2026, they will be disgusted by the people that call themselves politicians. They will be repulsed by the obvious, corrupt, non-focused, money taken from all types of... They didn't do this shit in the 60s. Half of these politicians, they weren't buying politicians like they're buying them now. Oh, man, we got people on the bargain cheap rack. They're off the rack now. Before, you had to jump through hoops and hide the money to get into the politicians. Now this shit's just in the open. Cory Booker's hands look like cups. Clapper is just walking the stroll. These people are pathetic, Johnson. So don't be comparing Black America in the 60s to Black America in the 2020s. Because this is two different Black Americas. Stark differences. Humongous differences. Black people can still vote. They can still vote. Gerrymandering is a problem on both sides. It's just, y'all effed around and now you got a Republican Supreme Court and they ruled against it. It's going to make it harder for you to stop Republicans from gerrymandering. But y'all both been gerrymandering. That's what both parties have done. So now what's going to have to happen is politicians are going to have to appeal to more than just black demographics. Black politicians are going to have to actually get some more white people to vote for them, which is going to make their seats less likely to be occupied because now you got to compete. You have to compete for that seat. And you ain't going to have a captive audience who are delusional enough to believe just because you're a black woman, that means that you're good for them. You have to show why you're good for them and how you're going to fight for them and what that's going to do for their lives and their families. And that should have been mandatory to begin with. I'm not going to say Republicans are being very helpful. They're being strategic, and I get that. But this idea that now suddenly black Americans are disenfranchised, we've been disenfranchised. We've been basically held hostage by elite blacks in certain districts, by the elite Democratic Party, who they can funnel money to. That's not a good win either. You know, both parties suck. Both parties are horrible. Both parties have the corruption. They both have lying-ass politicians in them. And they both serve special interests. And typically, both the Democratic candidates and the Republican candidates are taking money from the same people. We have black politicians that want to keep their money coming in. And now that money may not go to them because the likelihood of them becoming representatives is going to be less likely. So their career paths are in question. But black people have been disenfranchised up to this point. The way they talk, the way that they gaslight, as if this is a new phenomenon. Now we're not going to be represented. You weren't representing us before. You were representing the Democratic Party. And that's not the same thing. representing the Democratic Party, is that representing black Americans? In some of these districts, I don't see how they can get much worse having a white person not represent them than they were having a black person not represent them. Because both ways, they're not getting represented. And that's the problem. And I need to see more independent media people bring that to the forefront. Because that's really what this should be about. We can't let them control the narrative that makes it seem like, oh no, now black people going back to Jim Crow. Well, you know what? It's been Jim No all this time. Jim No, Jim's a hole, Jim Slow. So we're not falling for it, man. This shit is obvious. I just got through reciting some of Tennessee's demographics and some of their disparities in her. I forget her name, but I know she's a rep. She's a state senator. She's a state senator out of Tennessee. Don't get me started on the quality of living for most black Americans in Tennessee. Ooh. Let's not talk about the actual disparities, the homeownership rates, the unemployment rate, the poverty rate. Double, 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 double. I'm not giving you a website address. www. Everything bad would double in Memphis compared to white citizens in Memphis. Black Americans are doubly incarcerated, doubly impoverished, and doubly unemployed, and doubly not owning their own homes. So that's what you, as a senator. So look, here's my thing, sis. If you try to tell me, hey, it's not my fault, it's the Republicans, then we need to go to the Republicans and get this shit fixed. Why we got you? Since you said in the office you couldn't do shit, let's see how much you can do out of office. Since you being in office was still getting us double digits of zeros, we getting 2 goose eggs with your asses in the office. Now you might not be in office. Okay. They was running the Boston on black people with you in office. I don't know if you know or not. A Boston's the worst you could do in spades. Pack it up, sisters. Let's pack it up. Coming with the we died. Ain't nobody died so that you could go to TJ Maxx or wherever the Saks. Nobody died so that you could buy a Corvette. Nobody died so you go to the BET Awards or go to the Martin Preview or nobody died so you go to the Essence Fest. No, sister, that's not what black people died for. We died trying to get freedom, to be treated like a human being. That's what we died for, to get equal rights. That's so that you and your Democratic friends could go hook up and go on excursions and go to brunches and luncheons. Before I let go. Yeah, that's not why black people, activists did not die for that. And it's disparaging, it's disrespectful, it's an insult that you would keep saying. I'm tired of y'all saying that, man. Now, I forget your name, State Senator Donna, or something like that. Boy, sister, cut that shit out. Cut the cap. Cut the check, cut the cap, cut it out. They died for us. Boy, y'all gonna stop reciting that shit. We gonna hold them accountable. We gonna hold y'all accountable for that. Stop using people's deaths in vain for your shit party. Those were activists, not Democratic Party people. These were activists. Activists. You've been watching the Tim Black Show. Thank you for being a supporter. of independent media, from my family to yours. Stay dangerous and keep loving your heart. Wolfpack. Be one.